Hello YouTube, welcome to another video. In the last episode I was showing you the original design that I came up with for an 18650 based battery storage system. In this episode I thought I'd go into the process of extracting and cleaning up and testing 18650 cells so that you have a ready supply to make into battery packs. Here's the process that I follow. When I'm processing my batteries, I use a 4-tray system. Batteries that I've just harvested out of old packs go in the first tray. These are to be processed. I take batteries from this tray and I place them in the charger. Charger tester, and what this does is it'll charge the batteries up to their top voltage, then it'll discharge them down to their bottom voltage, measuring how much energy it can take out of them, and then when it's finished it'll charge them back up to their top voltage again, and it'll give you a display that tells you how many milliamp hours of capacity each of the cells has and what its internal resistance is. I take those cells. Once they've been through the test cycle, I write the capacity in milliamp hours on here and the internal resistance at this end, and then I put them into the first tray. So here's an example. Here you can see where I've got the internal resistance and the capacity. They'll sit in this tray here for 2 weeks. At the end of a 2-week period, this tray number 1 becomes tray number 2. Tray number 2 becomes tray number 3. Tray number 3, I then have to check whether or not these cells have kept the top voltage that they were charged to at the end of the testing stage. So by the time they get into tray 3, they'll have been sitting for about a month at full charge, and I will test them with my multimeter to check whether they're still at about 4.2 volts ish. In my experience, when this charger says they're at 4.2, they're actually at about 4.17 according to my tester. So if these are at 4.17, that's absolutely fantastic. It means they've held on to all of their charge for the whole of the month. I let them go down to as low as about 4.1. So if they're still at 4.1 volts or higher, I'll keep them. They go into the pile to be used for packs. If they are below 4.1 volts, then I put them in my sort of reserve pile. If they're below 4 volts, they go straight back in the dumpster, or they go to the recycle centre to be recycled. So I don't keep them if they drop below 4 volts, because it means they've got a significant internal leakage, and so they're not very good. And then when I've completely checked all of the ones in tray 3 at the end of that period and made sure that they're good or bad, then that tray is empty and that becomes the new tray 1. And so I keep going through that cycle. Every 2 weeks this tray moves on, that tray moves on, that tray moves on, that one gets tested, that becomes empty, it goes back to the beginning, and I just keep doing that, and then I end up with a big box full of cells that are ready to be made into packs. Got a bit of a new battery pack. Not seen this sort before. It's kind of made up of, it's a Dell one, but it's made up of two separate pieces. It's a new one on me. I've opened a lot of battery packs now, but I've never seen one like this before. So I'm hoping there's what, 3 18650s in there, and maybe some more in here, but I'm a bit concerned there might be pouch cells in there, so we'll have to open it up and see what we've got. I think these are quite nice cells of these pink ones. I've seen them before. These are the Samsung ones, and they're usually pretty good capacity left on them. Right, that is that one. And then it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, another 6 in there, so that's 9 cells, which is really, really good. Usually you only get about 6 in a pack. So 9 is okay. So there you go. Inside each of these Dyson vacuum cleaner batteries is a apart from the 18650s, obviously, there's some sticky pads. This is how I get into them. And once you're inside, see these foam pads on here. Now nicely Dyson has made it so they're not like stupidly sticky, and you can actually just peel these off nice and easy, and that's what I'll be using. See, peel off just nice and easy, it's still nice and sticky. BMS. Now there's a temperature sensor that comes from the BMS through this little hole, and it's glued in, and what it does is it bonds to these two cells, and it makes these two cells not come out, not easily. All the others will just slide straight out once you've removed these tabs, but these two, because of this glue, you either have to push them out with a dowel, or, which is what I used to do, but I found that it damaged the top of the cell sometimes. So now what I do is I cut them out by using a sharp knife and cutting through the plastic a few times, and then bending it, and it snaps, and then you just take the cell out, and then you cut through on the inside to the next cell because it's much thinner plastic, and then again you can just snap it open and take it out. I'll show you that in a second. These sort of pliers, or nibblers, essential. You really need these to get these tiny little bits out. You can't beat a pair of these tiny little nibblers. Now this one, you see, it's not connected on either end now, see, and it'll just push straight out. Perfect. You have to be really careful, like when you're going to pull this piece off, that you don't accidentally touch that bit, because you'll short between them, you get a nasty spark and it make you jump. I've done it many times. And they only come out from one side, so like this side is blocked, this side's got like a little clip. You just kind of lever that clip up and push on the battery, and it comes out enough to grip it, pull it out the rest of the way. Now these are the two glued ones. So they're not going to move, and then that's the last one, so that one should be loose. So now these two are not going to come out without a fight. I'll show you how I get them out now. So the side with the slits in it is already part cut for you in that sense, so it makes it a bit easier. And you have to be really careful when you do this, because you have to apply a fair amount of force, and you really do not want to go into your hand. And you don't want to push so deep either that you go into the battery. Like I say, a lot of people just get a dowel, piece of wood, put it in there and it'll just force the battery out. It tends to rip the plastic jacket off, but as long as you've got a pack you can recover them. But it does sometimes damage the button at the top. Not quite through enough yet, still too tight. There we go. See, you snap that open, and then you can just pop it out. You see where it's glued. And then once you've done that, this inside edge in here is really thin, so it's a lot easier to just run the knife through there a few times, and then pull that apart. Like that. And you can just take it out. So that's how I do it now, but like I say, some people do it with a dowel, and that's how I used to do it, but it tends to damage this little button on the top because it presses on it. So you really need a pair of nibblers like this. As you can just see that sort of tiny little, if you can see it, it's a little, really sharp, so you've got to be careful not to cut yourself as well. Something I tend to do a lot. Just nibble these bits off. There you go. You can rub your fingers on it and it's fairly smooth. It's pretty good. And I quite like these orange ones. They tend to be in pretty good condition, I find, as a general rule, and usually have at least 2000 milliamp hours of capacity left in them, which is perfect for what I'm using them for. probably cut myself already. Last one. Okay. So what we're then going to do is pop them into the tester. We put it on normal test, and what that will do is it will charge them up to about 4.2 volts, which is the top voltage. Then it will discharge them right the way down to their bottom voltage, measuring how much they get out of it. And then when it's finished, it'll charge them back up to 4.2 volts again, and then finally the program will end and it will give you a reading, which is the total number of milliamp hours of capacity that the cell has and its internal resistance. And what I do is I write those both on the cell, and that's the testing complete, and then they go into the first stage box. Okay, let's check. Finished. Those in the charge pipe, get some more on. Okay, leave them going overnight and check on them in the morning. Right, I've got to check. These batteries have all been sitting for over a month, so it's time to check capacity, not the capacity, the voltage, and make sure they are holding a charge. So they were all fully charged, so I'm looking for a value of around, you know, something near sort of, well, definitely over 4 volts. Anything around sort of 4.1 is really good. So let's get a, and then we'll discard the ones that are not holding the charge, and we'll keep the ones that are. We can build our packs out of those. So let's take a big line, get the meter, and we'll do the test. 4.13, that's really good. 4.16, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah, these are excellent. 4.17, 4.13, 4.14, 4.13, 4.17, 4.15, 15, 17, 13, 17, 12, 16, 15, 17. Yeah, they're all excellent. That's good. We'll put them in the keep box. Get some more. Three, 4.09. Yeah, see that one's getting a bit. It's probably good enough. When I build my packs, I generally only charge it up to 4.05 anyway, so it just means that it's not, you know, it is leaching away a small amount, but it's close enough. That one, I'll keep that one. They're all good. Yeah, those two are a bit. The thing is, this battery typically will charge and discharge daily, so it kind of doesn't matter that it loses a bit of charge over a period of about a month, because realistically it's not going to be sitting there holding power for that long, so you're not really going to lose very much even if there is a slight leakage. But maybe I'll keep these in a, if I get desperate and need an odd cell pile. So I'll probably find that one back in there now, but I can't be bothered to search for it was right on the minute anyway. 4.1 should be my cut-off really. Let's put these ones in this box over here as these are good but not quite good enough. .19, I mean that is like right at the top. That's really, really good. Okay, so those two go in that box. These ones we're going to keep. Okay, well, I hope that gives you a good idea of how I process my cells. It takes a little while to get the pipeline going, but once it's established, you have a steady supply of cells coming through, ready to be made into packs. Okay, that's it for this week. In the next video, I'll look at some of my other battery designs. See you on the next one. Cheers.